Every Sunday they saw him, an old janitor pushing a worn-out cleaning cart. Most people never learned his name. They walked past him, ignored him. Some barely looked in his direction. But nobody knew the secret he carried, and nobody expected what would happen on one ordinary Sunday morning. For nearly 10 years, Samuel quietly served as the church's caretaker. Every morning, long before the first rays of sunlight touched the stained glass, he would arrive at the old wooden doors. He unlocked them with gentle hands, stepping into the silent sanctuary while the world outside still slept. Samuel swept the floors with care, making sure every corner was spotless. He polished the windows until they gleamed, letting the morning light pour in. He arranged the chairs in perfect rows, preparing the space for worshippers who would soon fill the room with song and prayer. His work was unseen, but essential. And when the day ended, after the last hymn faded and the congregation had gone home, Samuel was still there. He was always the last to leave, making sure every light was turned off, every door locked, and every pew in order. The quiet of the empty church was his companion as he walked through the aisles, his footsteps echoing softly. The church members loved gathering together, sharing stories and discussing their faith. Laughter and conversation filled the hallways after every service, as friends greeted one another and families caught up on the week's events. But in the midst of all this warmth and fellowship, very few people ever spoke to Samuel. He often sat alone in a pew, quietly observing the joyful chatter around him, his presence barely noticed by those he served. Some people glanced his way but quickly looked past him, assuming he wasn't important. To many, he was just the janitor, someone whose name they never bothered to learn. Others thought his life had little value, believing his work was simple and unremarkable. Yet Samuel never complained or sought recognition. He carried out his duties with a gentle smile and a humble heart, content in his quiet role. Every day before he began his work, and after he finished, Samuel would pause to pray. Alone in the stillness of the sanctuary, he bowed his head and offered thanks, asking for strength to serve with love and patience. He remembered the words, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men." Samuel believed that every task, no matter how small, could be an act of devotion if done with the right spirit. For Samuel, even sweeping floors and polishing pews was a way to glorify God. He found peace and purpose in his work, knowing that in serving quietly, he was honoring something greater than himself. What nobody knew was that Samuel was facing serious problems. His wife had passed away years earlier. His health was declining. Money was tight. Many nights he ate simple meals just to save money. Yet every Sunday he smiled, not because life was easy, but because his faith was strong. Whenever worry came, he opened his Bible. Whenever fear arrived, he prayed, and somehow God kept carrying him through. One quiet Sunday morning, a young boy named Daniel arrived at the church much earlier than usual. The sun was just beginning to shine through the stained glass windows, casting colorful patterns on the floor as he walked down the empty hallway, his footsteps echoing softly in the stillness. As Daniel wandered, he accidentally pushed open a door he'd never noticed before. It creaked open to reveal a small, unused room filled with dust motes dancing in the sunlight. His curiosity got the better of him, and he stepped inside, wondering what secrets the room might hold. Inside, Daniel's eyes widened as he noticed stacks upon stacks of envelopes piled neatly on an old wooden table. Some were yellowed with age, others looked brand new, but all were carefully arranged as if waiting to be discovered. Unable to contain his curiosity, Daniel hurried to find the pastor and showed him the mysterious envelopes. The pastor, equally puzzled, opened one envelope while Daniel watched with anticipation. Inside, to their astonishment, was a generous amount of money. The pastor opened another envelope and then another, each one containing more cash. Envelope after envelope revealed the same thing: more money, carefully tucked away. It seemed endless, as if someone had been quietly leaving these gifts for years. When the church leadership gathered to see what Daniel and the pastor had found, they were completely shocked. No one had any idea where the envelopes had come from or who could have left them. There were literally hundreds of envelopes, each one containing a donation. The sheer number was overwhelming, and the leaders began to count and organize them, realizing the impact these gifts could have. Tucked inside each envelope was a simple, heartfelt note. The message was always the same: for families who need help. The words were written in careful handwriting, full of kindness and hope. But there was never a signature, no name, no clue as to who the generous donor could be. The mystery deepened, and everyone wondered who could be behind such a selfless act. Determined to solve the mystery, the church leaders decided to investigate. They searched through records, asked questions, and tried to piece together any clues that might reveal the identity of the anonymous benefactor. After much searching and careful observation, they finally uncovered the truth. The answer had been right in front of them all along. Every single envelope had been quietly left by Samuel, the humble janitor. The man everyone passed by without a second thought, the one who worked quietly in the background, had been making a difference in the lives of countless families, all without seeking recognition or praise. For years, Samuel had secretly helped struggling families. When parents couldn't buy groceries, Samuel helped. When children needed school supplies, Samuel helped. When someone couldn't pay a bill, Samuel helped. Most of the church never knew. He never asked for recognition. He never wanted applause. He simply wanted to serve God. The Bible says, "But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth." Samuel understood something many people miss. True kindness doesn't need an audience. The following Sunday, the pastor stood before the congregation, his voice steady but filled with emotion, and shared Samuel's story for the very first time. As his words echoed through the sanctuary, a profound silence fell over the church. The usual sounds of shuffling feet and whispered conversations faded away. Some people quietly wiped away tears, moved by the truth they had never noticed before. Others sat in deep thought, feeling a sense of conviction settle in their hearts. In that moment, the congregation realized they had overlooked one of the most faithful and humble people among them. Samuel had always been there, serving quietly in the background, but his devotion had gone unnoticed. He wasn't recognized because he was famous, or because his name was known beyond the church walls. Nor was he celebrated for his wealth or possessions, for Samuel lived simply and never sought attention. What set Samuel apart was his heart, a heart that truly reflected the love and humility of Christ. His kindness, patience, and willingness to serve others spoke louder than any words ever could. As the pastor finished speaking, Samuel stood quietly in the back of the church, his head bowed, feeling embarrassed by all the unexpected attention. He had never sought recognition, only to serve. Yet, in a powerful moment of unity, everyone in the congregation rose to their feet, their faces filled with admiration and gratitude. For several minutes, the church erupted in applause. The clapping wasn't just for Samuel the janitor, but for the example of faith, humility, and love he had shown to everyone. In that moment, the congregation understood that true greatness is found not in status or wealth, but in a heart devoted to God and others. How many people do we overlook every day? The cashier, the cleaner, the security guard, the elderly neighbor, the person sitting alone. God often uses people the world ignores. The greatest acts of faith are not always seen. The most powerful servants are not always famous. And the people who seem least important may be making the biggest difference. The Bible says, "For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, but the Lord looketh on the heart." The next time you meet someone others ignore, just remember Samuel, because God sees what people miss. He sees every act of kindness, every sacrifice, every prayer, and one day, what is done for God will never be forgotten. God looks at the heart. If this story inspired you, subscribe for more faith-based stories and Bible lessons.